You have to expect somebody to take the blame. And, a lot of times that's going to rest on a manager. Now, did Joe Madden lose them those 12 games in a row? No, he did not. They have much larger problems that we're going to discuss here in a minute. But when you've lost 12 games after you spent the money that you spent to bring in people like Anthony Rendon and things like that, somebody's going to take the blame for it, and it was Joe Madden.
Well, and Anthony Rendon that's been on the IL for a while now.
But, Matt, on our last show, we talked about this. And we said that the Angels' curse is health. They can never stay. I mean, Mike Trout left the game Tuesday night, I think, because he was trying to stretch a double into a single, which is what Trout does, right? He's an aggressive player. But I think this team...
Other way around.
What?
Stretching a single into a double.
Oh, man.
He running the wrong way, and you're mentioning.
Okay. It's been a long day,
COVID fog
folks.
is real, folks.
Oh, my
COVID
goodness.
fog is real.
You're not kidding. Yeah, he tried to stretch a single into a double. But, okay, regardless of the fact that, Trout came out of the game the other night, Rendon's been on the IL, this team, we said this, they've kind of, overshot their value, I think. I think that fool's gold of the beginning of the season and that hot start that they got off to was exactly that, fool's gold, because we even said of those 4 teams that were leading the divisions, right? The first time that both LA teams and both New York teams were leading their division at the same time, they were the worst of the bunch. And there's actually statistics to back that up. Defensively, they're a worse defensive team metrically, according to Fangraphs, than the Detroit Tigers. They actually have a UZR rating, which
you're talking about a top 10 defense, AJ.
No, not according to Fangraphs. Well, according to Fangraphs and filtering it by UZR, which is an ultimate zone rating, which assigns a run value to different defensive metrics like arm strength and range and all of those different things. The Angels actually produce on the season a negative 8.5 UZR. Their run value for their defense is they've lost 8.5 runs, which is actually, I say they're worse than the Tigers. They're actually tied with the Tigers in that rating. But it's not. It doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any better than that because they're hitting. They're striking out at a 24.6% clip. And they're walking at a very low clip, which is not a good combination. They have better players than the Tigers, but metrically, they're not really better than the Tigers. And yes, they have better players. That's why they have won more games. I'm not saying they're the same as the Tigers. But metrically, when you look at the numbers, they are right in range with where Detroit is. And it was fool's gold, man.
Yeah, it's not a good place to be. You don't want to be where the Tigers are because the Tigers are not having a very good year. So, but, I mean...
Hey, it's
it was good fool's gold. You were 27-17.
Yeah.
It worked for a while. But month and a half, it worked pretty well.
But what does that create when you have the type of players that you have, you get off to that start and you spent that kind of money, that sets expectations. And now, when you come back down to earth, it ruins those expectations. I mean, they now are behind the Astros in the AL West by 10 games. By 10 games.
No, it's not good. It's not. I mean, and they out of those 4 teams that we discussed, No, but that's another part of the big picture with them is that yes, they are worse than the other 3 teams we discussed, the 2 New York teams and the LA team. They also had the stiffest competition in their division in the Houston Astros. The AL East, it's generally a war zone, but the Yankees have seemed to have taken command of that. The NL East. You really don't know what you're going to get. It might be the Braves stepping up, might be the Phillies stepping up, might be the Mets stepping up. You really don't know. The Dodgers have gotten some pushback by the Giants recently, but it's pretty much been their division for the last 5 years. The AL West has been the Houston Astros division. So you have a big name pushing back on you atop of that, and then your team just falls apart, and you can't get any wins, and you're mired in a 13-game losing streak, and your manager, who will forever be, never have to buy a drink in the city of Chicago, can't say the same thing in Orange County.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what?